If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
What's up, St. Louis? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the STL Bucket List Show. I am your host, Marissa Farrell.
And I'm your other host, Luke Farrell. And we can't thank my guy in the back, Matt, enough on the ones and twos at Half Coast Studios for cutting up a perfect episode for Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all the platforms. And then, of course, our friends at the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. They're the largest public funder of arts and art programs right here in St. Louis. And when you support art, you support the city of St. Louis.
That's right. Today we have two amazing guests, two very close friends of ours, actually. Elliott Brown, okay, and Jordy Logan. Welcome, guys.
What's up?
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for pulling up to the stew.
Finally got
amazing.
you on.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, we're excited. So normally we talk and start off just getting a little, insight to who you guys are as people for listeners who might not know. So whoever wants to kick it off, you're both going to take a turn, but whoever wants to start and just share background,
I'll go first.
upbringing, family, school, all the shit.
Yeah. So I was born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I moved here when I was 4 years old. My mom has always been a great cook. My grandma was a great cook. I've always had like a family that had a lot of parties. Like we always had people over. My parents who have been on here, Jeff and Mary, Mother Model Management. They've always had like models at the house and stuff. So I just feel like hospitality and like having people home and cooking for people has always been a part of my life. So yeah, I grew up in Wentzville. Actually, Dardine Prairie, but I went to school.
Shout out Dardine Prairie.
Dardine Prairie.
I know my mom's listening.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I grew up out there, I went to school at Timberland, which is where I met Brandon. That was where we played football together. So after high school, I was had no idea what I wanted to do. I was really into cooking, but I guess it never really dawned on me that I could do it. I don't know why, it just never did. So I tried community college. I hated it. It was horrible.
No go.
No,
How long did you do that for? Like, were you 2 years
I was enrolled.
or what?
I was enrolled for 1 year, but I only went to class for one semester.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I would actually go to school. Well, my mom's going to see this now, but I would just go to school basically and kick it with my friends that went there, but I hated it.
Yeah.
So then it was one day I was like, dude, you have to figure something out. You got to do something. And I was I kind of like cooking. Le Cordon Bleu was 15 minutes from my house. So I set up a little trial to walk through. And it was we got through the first room and I was like, oh yeah, this is dope. This is what I want to do. And basically never looked back. So we had an internship that we had to do at the end of school. My dad has a friend that in New York. He worked with Jeffrey Zakarian and them. So he asked if I could get an internship. So I moved out to New York. So within I finished my hours within the first 2 weeks. It was supposed to take you 6 weeks, but I was just working all
20-hour days.
It wasn't.
What else are you gonna do? I
didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone, and I was I walked in the first day, I had no right to be there. It was way over my head, but I cared and I kept trying, and that's basically all they ask of you. So they offered me a job. And then I lived there for about 2 years. So then I moved back. I moved back home for a week. And I was basically asked where everyone was hanging out, and they told me where we had always hung out. So I was like, nah, not happening. So I moved to Iowa actually because my dad lived there. I was like, whatever. I've never lived here. I bumped into a chef, Andy Schumacher. He owns Cobble Hill. He's a James Beard nominated chef. So that was really just fell into my lap, and right when I moved there, someone had left. It just was kind of all perfect timing. I worked there for a few years. I ended up being the sous chef there. Then I moved back, and since there I worked in niche for a while. I've just been hopping around, but Yeah, but like food's always been a big part of my family, you know. I guess
like 10 years in now. You've been cooking for like 12 years now.
10 years.
Yeah. Wow.
I started culinary school like 11 years ago, like professionally.
Isn't that weird to say? Like I have a career in cooking for 10 years. Like
it's wild.
Makes you
like,
feel
I'm not old enough for that, but here we are.
But it's wild too, because like before that I was a busser. I've only ever worked in a restaurant. That's all I know. And it's amazing.
Is that what your first job was?
Yeah, I was a busser at BC's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So you don't know how
Jardine Prairie.
Jardine Prairie, baby.
St. Louis. Yeah. So you don't know how green the grass is on the other side because you've never done
I have no idea.
Everybody's like, oh, the grass isn't always green. You're like, shit, I've always been in the kitchen.
I love being a busser. I always say, like, if I could have got a salary job bussing tables, I would have done it forever. I loved it.
You just like being in your own zone, just like picking up stuff.
Just being in my zone and
kitchen.
like walking through the dining room and stuff. I love it.
That's crazy. That's an interesting story. So Jordy, tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit, kind of growing up.
You know, just growing up, just thinking food, fun, family. You know, there's 9 of us total. I'm the middle of 9 kids, so if you can imagine, there wasn't too much going out to eat. Mom always had to cook, and what a treat that was because my mom was a great cook, a great home cook, of course, not a chef, but everything about that was just inspirational. So like I always had like a hosting kind of a situation because, like I said, Mom wasn't leaving the house with all of us, so everyone came to us, and so it's just good times, surrounded by food and celebration. I, of course, knew nothing of the libation side at that time, but later on, I'm like, this, you know, food and family, it's a lot more fun with cocktails. So eventually, across the.
No, that's right.
I'm not from here. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I got an athletic background, so. When I first got introduced to cocktails or bartending, you know, just from competitive background, just always wanted to be the best. I was always learning and growing and tasting. And what about this? What if we can do that? I had the opportunity to bartend with a gentleman who he told me, make it pink, make it sweet, and make it $5.50. There's nothing else, no background behind it. And I'm just like, okay, what do I do as far as putting all these drinks together? Combination, I'm like, just make it sweet, make it pink, and make it $5.50. Just serve it. And as vague as that was, I owe a lot of like my creativity to that. You know, I don't, as far as combinations and recipes, like, you know, a lot of my foundation is kind of creating those things versus where I then picked up the education and skill later. So it was a lot of free form and just having a good time, you know, facilitating that fun.
Were they selling cocktails for $5.50 yet?
You know, I just gave away my age there too. You know, this is the first time I was behind the sticks there. We're talking about college land,
college
08,
towns,
you know, college town 08. You know what I mean? So that was
yeah. No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, no
They're
doubt.
like 15. What are they, like $14? Is the going right now?
Yeah, without a doubt,
I was a sophomore.
Oh man.
Oh wait.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well,
7th grade.
You knew about flaming Dr.
grade.
Peppers, maybe? I don't even know.
We were in high school
2009.
2009, 2010, so we were like in 8th grade.
Crazy.
Knew nothing.
Oh, babies.
So how did you like start making cocktails then? Like that was in college when you started bartending?
Looking back on it, I don't know that I was bartending, but I was serving drinks for sure. You know, just
You were mixing stuff up.
What I know now, and like, yeah, it's like, what did I serve those people? But yeah, that's about it. Just
Dude, I've deleted so many pictures off my Instagram that I posted before, and I'm like, bro, I gotta get those
Like
off.
embarrassed.
yeah,
like
I got
the
and I was so
look of
proud,
it.
right? Just
Yeah.
like, look.
I'm like, let's be good.
It's that moment of like when you're proud, because even like Facebook memories will remind you of stuff. And I'll, like when
You're
we
like,
first
stop, don't remind me of
when
that
we
shit.
first started dating, and I would like put up our dinners, and now I'm like, that looks like shit, and that's embarrassing. But I was like, look, I'm feeding like someone. I'm feeding myself.
But we were like 21.
We're so
like,
proud that we were like
Hey,
cooking.
find you a girl that could get
Like white people.
Find you a girl, yeah. Find you a girl who can cook like this. Like, yo, take that shit off right now. Right now.
Hey,
It really
forget
wasn't
about all
that good.
that.
Oh my gosh.
That is
hilarious.
hilarious.
All right. So, and you started with athletics. You said that's
Yeah, I've always had a foot in hospitality though. So like, I wrestled in college at Grandview University. Then became a coach. But as you guys know about small college coaches, it's not about the money, right? You know, it's about passion and love. So as a wrestling coach, I always worked a hospitality job to kind of keep the lights on, so forth and so on.
and
Ultimately down the line, I was the head wrestling coach over here at Lindenwood University, Belleville. COVID came along. The university never opened back up afterwards. And I was like, all right, full time, full speed ahead, jump into hospitality, and here I am.
Hospitality takes a certain kind of person too. I feel like just because well, one, the hours. Okay, like
absolutely.
your weekends are gone. Like anytime your friends want to hang out, you're like, well, I'm probably not getting off till 2:00 in the morning. So there's so many challenges with that. But what other things like do you guys want to touch on, or could you touch on that like maybe is a misconception of the hospitality?
I mean, I think as hard as it is for our lives, or like when it comes to, I guess what I'm trying to say is like we would all choose it 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I am missing out on stuff, but I want to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like I want to work my station. I want to prep my stuff. It's like it's like you don't want help. We all need help, but we all help each other. But in your mind, you're like, we all take pride over our stuff. So it's like, I have missed out on pretty much every party, all that stuff. But I would like, if I went
building
back,
yourself,
I would do it again, and it's like, honestly, when you see pictures and stuff, it's not that you're not missing much,
Absolutely.
and it's like, if I'm growing, it's like, I've always told myself, as long as I'm like moving towards my goal, like for me, when I went to culinary school, I always knew I was going to open a restaurant. Like I knew at some point, I'm like, I'm taking a fat loan out and I'm doing it.
Was that because you didn't want to work for someone else, or you just knew like, that's just my path. Like I just,
I mean, it's like, it's passion, and like, it's like, I don't mind working for other people, but it's like at a certain point, you can be creative within certain boundaries. I'm excited. Like what I'm excited about and what I like about Dinner at the Loft is like, I can cook whatever I want because there's no one to tell me that I can't. And I like that. And it kind of unlocks like a level of like creativity that you don't get in restaurants because you're like, oh, well, what if, and it's like,
well, you're trying new things and you're like showing it to chef and he's like, oh, no, we'll do that another time. And then you're just bustling the other stuff. But like, you're just like trying to like show him.
Absolutely. And it's like, I mean, we've came up with drinks and dishes that 100% will be at Scouts that we've never made. We made at Dinner at the Loft, and we like, stay. And that I've made multiple times since the first time I made it. And it's gotten better and better and better. Right. And that's like on an electric, like we're working on electric stoves.
Yeah, in an apartment.
Or
like wherever, somebody's house.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like whenever we have all the equipment that we really want, and same for Brandon, and it's like I feel like we're really proud of what we come out with.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not like I'm just as happy about it, but I don't know, something about having like your own spot to like, it's like a playground, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is like, because you can wake up every day and like be like, all right, I want to try this tonight. And then you can do it immediately, you know? Or like you get a farm or you like hit a farm up and like, I want to try that tonight. And it's just like specials and like keeping things interesting. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Dinner at the Loft because like we went to the first one and I don't know how long ago that was. That was probably a year and a half ago.
Right after we got engaged, I remember it was like October 13th.
Yeah, it was
2020.
Oh, it was 2 days after we got engaged.
It was literally 2 days.
Yeah.
2020, October 13th, 2020.
We were on high, and then we had like great ass food, and we were like, life is good.
I remember that.
But what made you even pop that up? Because like, I mean, obviously like the pandemic, everybody slowed down. Was that the main reason, or was it just?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so me and Brandon one night were just at my loft. We were super bored. So I moved into my loft during COVID for one. And then I got my kitchen table, which had been in storage for years. And it was the kitchen table I had as a kid, like growing up. Okay. So then I had the table and I was like looking at it one day. And we had done like a few dinners at that point, like traveling, which is kind of how it really started. Is when restaurants were shut down, we'd basically come to people's house like masked up and bring the restaurant to them. That was like kind of our pitch.
Right.
Then we were having like these long gaps of time where we couldn't where we weren't booking dinners. And we were like, how are we going to we have to get into people's faces. So I was like, well, why don't we do it here? Like me and Brandon, I was like, we just had been drinking and we were just like, dude, let's do it. So I made a post. And when I woke up, it was like, you guys were like, we'll do it. And it was all the homies pulled up on Friday. And then we were like, oh, like we got to do this.
Yeah. You got your first one. And then...
Yeah, it's Jordy pulled up and then it went good.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with oyster mushrooms ever since that night.
Brandon would be so happy to know that.
I swear he would.
Brandon would be so proud. He's going to love that.
That was the 5 mushroom dish. It was like 5 different mushrooms.
With the edible flowers on top. It was beautiful. It was, I still crave it to this day.
Yeah, that dish was fire.
So you started during the pandemic. So like you obviously like I'm trying to like put this into perspective for people that are listening, but like, you know, now you guys are popping off. Like it's crazy. Yeah. And it hasn't been that long. I mean 2 years of hard work and dedication is a long time, but in all reality, 2 years is not quick. That long.
Yeah.
So like what does it feel to have like magazines hitting you guys up left and right?
Dude, it's dope. It's really cool, you know, it makes you really proud, especially like you're like how many like Feast and Sauce magazines I've snagged walking out of a restaurant.
Just I do it every time.
All the time. Like you're not going to not grab it. Yeah. And I'm like, so that was really cool. It makes you proud. And like, I feel like it's for us, it's like, and Brandon would agree. It's like we created something. It's like ours. And now it's like grown into something that's like, and it was just it was organic.
Right. It was kind of like a little secret, you know. Not everyone knew, and then now it's like everyone knows. So it's like, all right, well, that's
yeah. Well, hell yeah. It's like I'm going to a private Loft dinner tonight. Like how exclusive and amazing is that?
Yeah.
Text you the address, you know, a few hours before the deal, and no phone numbers. Just
we were talking about with
Zach come hungry.
Una Vida, like there was like speakeasies during the pandemic, and like Zach, we were talking about with Una Vida, like some guy was hosting them over in the Grove, and like we pulled up on one, and I'm like, dude, I just wanted to tell people I went to like a speakeasy.
Yeah.
Because like bars were literally closed. Like you could not go to a bar. So like the fact when you tell people you can't do something, they want to do it even more.
Oh, that's amazing.
And now it's like this exclusive, like when you guys are selling out tickets so quick, like, okay, you're dropping a brunch, there's 8 spots. It's like those are selling out quick. It's like, you know, people are paying $100 for brunch. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it is crazy. And sometimes like when we're like setting our prices, it's like, you know, we want to be affordable. We're not trying to like, but it's like when you think about it, it's like sometimes people don't get them. Like we do a lot of work at home, and
explain like what goes into prepping that, because people might see that number, but again, like how many courses are you getting?
So you get 5 courses.
That's very
and
reasonable.
You get a cocktail when you arrive and a cocktail with each course. So it's like
6 cocktails.
Yeah.
So
and it's like they're not full, like you know,
but they're drink pairings.
And we tell them like that's up to you. Like if you want to take a sip, take a sip. Like it's more about the flavor, you know. It's just like, and then some people are really into it. Like we're all like, I like craft cocktails, so it's like, I don't know, it makes sense for us. People are like, do you do wine? We're like, nah, we do cocktails.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of wine.
Never heard of it.
the wine pairings. But like when you're coming up with the prices, like what people really probably don't understand is like, okay, so let's say there's 8 seats and it's $125 a head or whatever it is. So that's like, you know, but then it's also 3 people working, and then it's also you probably hire somebody else to serve.
So
that's 4 people. At the end of the day,
working,
it's not like any of you guys are balling
you're
out.
serving, you're explaining,
the
you're
R&D
prepping.
side.
Yeah, and so now it's my full-time job. So it's like, it's my only form of income. And it's like, you know, like there's times I have Scout and she's like, wants to play and I'm prepping. So it's like, that's my time. So it's like, and that's not free. And it's like, I don't mean that like in a bad way by any means, but it's like, you're not just paying for the ingredients. It's like the experience. You're paying for the time it takes to get it. We also don't buy cheap ingredients. We try to buy as much local stuff as we can. So it's like, it's more than just like coming here for 5 courses. It's like, I mean, we start prepping. I'd say we probably start prepping 2 weeks ahead of the dinner, you know. Sometimes it's sooner, but it's like, I mean, especially like we wrote our menu and tweaked our menu for like a month before the first pop-up.
Easily.
And it's like, it just kind of evolves throughout time.
So with the food, so Jordy, you get the menu that they write up, and then you're like, all right, I know what I'm going to do with drinks then. So
or
then
do you just kind of say, I'm going to do whatever?
Yeah, that's a whole evolution and process together as well. Like,
because the drinks are fire.
Thinking back,
you're like blowing smoke and shit. Like,
yeah, you got the bubbles.
You don't level it up on us, my guy.
That's what, like, thinking back to the first one, and then you know, it's more about just coming there to get lit. It's about the whole experience and curating that in such a way that the pairings are thoughtful and on point is really important to me now. Not that it wasn't at first, but now the depth and my understanding of the pairings, and you know, sitting down with Elliott and Brandon, just kind of throwing ideas out there, but you know, blah 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 blah. You know, it's just the growth through this entire process is just insane. You know, having the ability. How many dinners have we done?
I mean, we've had to have done over 100 between traveling and because that's another thing is people don't know, like a lot of we travel probably way more than we do host pop-ups.
For sure.
So we go to a lot of people's homes.
Those just aren't advertised because those are like people reach out.
Yeah.
What's the biggest one you guys have done? The largest group setting.
Probably our New Year's. For New Year's, we did it. Oh, yeah. It's like 100-person party.
Yeah.
So it was at their house.
It was just the three of you?
No, so we brought two bartenders. So it was two bartenders.
Oh yeah,
and then us three. So yeah, but it was literally. We like set up in their kitchen. They had this big island, and basically we split the island in half, and it was half of the bar, and then we took the other half, and we're just like putting food up, and it was like a party.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes. Like we're kind of like party hosts in a way, because like
absolutely
in a lot of ways, because we bring all of our own glassware, we bring the ice, we bring the plates, we bring the food, we clean up afterwards. People are always like, stop, because we clean because we clean like we would in a kitchen,
right?
It's just like natural to us.
And you want it to be like how they, because they're paying you, and you're like,
like we're taking out their trash, we're taking out their, so it's like. It's nice for someone to like have, because usually hosting parties
is 100 people at their house.
Oh
yeah, dude. This house was, they had chariot rides and valet parking.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
But that's what people want. Like people are paying for an experience, and like they're like, well, they could buy a bunch of takeout food or like order lunch, but like you have
to clean up themselves. So.
Yeah. But
it's like we come. It's like one, you have a say in your food. That's something I think we have that's different than like other. Catering or food services is, it's like, it's not like when you hit us up, we send you 5 menus and you're like, I want this. It's like, what do you like to eat?
Yeah.
What do you not like to eat? What are you allergic to? And it's like, that's where we start.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes we'll write a menu and they're like, I don't know about second course. And I'm like, okay, well, what if we did this? And they'll be like, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Where it's like, so it's like, you could like, you're not going to be like, I want this, and this. But if you're like, what are your favorite kind of foods? During COVID, we had this family that went to like Hawaii every year for their anniversary, and they couldn't go. So they like dressed up their house like Hawaii, and they told us, we looked at the menu of where they used to go, and we like did our takes on it.
Nice.
With drinks too and everything.
Yeah, which is like, you can't, like that's also what you're paying for. Exactly.
Yeah, you can't go to a Schnucks and get that.
No.
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay.
So I also want to address something. So like you'll go to other people's house who like they put this together, but then you've also had like random people come to your place, like Luke and I with like 4 other strangers we don't know. And so you always say something when we start dinner that I love. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm going to call it your philosophy of dinner. What is that? What is that? Do you know what I'm talking about? You always say
about not talking about certain things.
Yeah. Like you just always start dinner, and it's like gives you that peace of mind.
I know.
Of,
we just like to remind each other, especially, like this is our escape from life. Like as far as you can go back in time, like people gather around food. It's something we all have in common. And like food is fire to everyone. Like, I don't care who you are. Like if you, everyone in the room's like, yo, this is gas. You know what I mean? So like, I just like tell people like, this is our escape. Like, let's just have a good time. Like politics don't matter. None of that stuff in the world matters at this moment right now, besides enjoying ourselves. And it's like you said, like, it kind of like relaxes because it's
that's
awkward.
A great tone at the beginning.
It's awkward sometimes. Like it's like 8. Yeah. Well, it's like you pull up to my house and there's 8 random people sitting at a table. Yeah. So first off, you're walking into a stranger's house to sit with more strangers
and gather around food that might be stranger like to you too. You're like, I don't know what this is. We're gonna try.
But it's like once they have a welcoming drink and one drink in, it's like.
Hi, what's your name? What do you do?
That's kind of the funnest part from the outside looking in.
By the end, it's loud. They're exchanging numbers.
It's quiet
stuff.
At first. And, and by time course 3 or drink 3, it's just
it's a party.
Elevated. It's like all right. By the end of the meal, everyone's friends. They're exchanging social media tags and all that fun stuff. And that's kind of the best part about the dinner. They're just curating that entire situation.
And we also always get compliments on the music. Which is awesome.
Do you have a playlist?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I make Loft. It, dude. I take so much pride in it.
It's the same one, or you shift it to the moods, or what?
I just add on to it slowly.
Yep.
And it's just like I listen to a lot of like just like rotating music because I don't like to think about it.
Right.
And I'll just like add it to the library.
Yeah.
And
You're
add
like,
it
oh,
to
that's a good
library.
one.
They're like,
That-
who
that
is that? I'm
playlist
like,
was hard.
dude, I have
I'll
no
think of
clue.
that.
I don't know. And you go look and you're like, oh, this is them.
And then I'm like, I can't pronounce it.
But that's what people are gonna see. That's crazy. So what do you think, what do you think the evolution, because obviously, you know, news came out, restaurants coming, but like, what are you gonna do with dinner at the Loft? Are you guys still gonna do these pop-ups? Are you gonna be working with Work and Leisure? Are you guys gonna?
So I definitely want to have an element of scouts of catering. I mean, obviously, it'll have to take a little break before we can. But like the restaurant we was talking about in Iowa, Cobble Hill, we used to go to people's houses and do that. And we would do like offsite events and stuff. And we'd collab with other restaurants, which I haven't seen much in the city, but like we would go to this restaurant in Iowa City, Pullman, and we would do 3 courses. They would do 2. And then 2 weeks later, they would come to our kitchen and do the same thing. And like, sorry. So I don't know. I think just like collabing. Sorry.
No, you're
good. But yeah, like collaboration, like I've seen some of that happen in the city, but more or less like, you know, like why not like bring people into your space, let other chefs that you respect come in and vice versa. I mean, that stuff's fun and that gets people excited. That
And
gives
reach your audience.
that gives people, it gets people excited and stuff like that. But I mean, it's probably going to hurt to slow it down, but it's just like with the capacity, like you're not going to be able to do it. It's just too much time goes into the restaurant.
Like I hope to do it again, but like, I don't know if once you guys see the spot, like, it's going to feel very homey. Like that's what we're going for is we want to like we want you to feel like you're almost going to a dinner party. Like I love going to people's houses and it's like just food and stuff and everyone's talking. Like I want it to be like have that kind of feel to it. Yeah. But it's like you could still have like to your normal dinner if you wanted, but it'd more so be like, yo, let's all go hang out here. Not like, let's go hang out at Scouts, not let's go have dinner at Scouts.
Yeah.
Even though it's like the same thing, but I don't know.
I get it. I know exactly what
Well,
you mean,
tell us a little bit more about that. So like, tell us about the vision for the spot and like kind of what people can expect. I mean, obviously you're at the very beginning. So like when this comes out and the restaurant opens, it's probably gonna be completely different than what we're even talking about now. But just tell us about your vision. Cause like you kind of started to explain it a little bit there.
So I've always wanted to so I don't drink anymore, but I've always loved cocktails and like craft cocktails. So I've always like had this vision of like I said, I've always had an idea of opening a restaurant and it's kind of not changed over the time. It's just like kind of been tweaking, but it's always been a cocktail driven restaurant. So one, I always knew I needed to find someone who was like killer at drinks. And like I found Jordy and like now he's like my best, he's one of my best friends.
Yes.
Like, and that's amazing. And like, so we met years before that and it's like, we're learning each other's food. We're learning each other's drink. We have like, we're saying like, we always say the vibe, which is like weird, but like we have the same clear cut idea of like what we want it to be and what we're trying to like portray and give to our guests. So like, that's something that's very exciting. But so I definitely want it to be cocktail driven, like I said, which I feel like goes into like that laid back environment. I feel like there's a few cocktail bars, you know, will taste close. And then what was the other one? You guys, I feel like you guys.
Takashima?
No, Brennan's.
Oh.
Brennan's is a good little spot.
And what's is it Planner's House?
Planner's House, Yellow
Yeah.
Belly,
Retreat.
Gin Room.
Yellow Belly, we went to a lot.
There's some good cocktails.
But I mean more so like in Midtown.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Midtown.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm like thinking like, what does Midtown need? Because we've, like I said, we've had the building for a while. So we kind of always knew it was going in that spot. So I'm like thinking I want it to be cocktail driven, one for like the food we're trying to cook and just what we're trying to go forward. But and like food wise, I want it to be like a lot of small plates. I mean, you guys remember going to Taste?
Yeah.
Just like that, you know, it's like, but I want it to be a little bit on a larger scale. So we're going to have a wood fired hearth, which again goes to, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, it's like a fireplace. We're going to have these big, like, I think we're going to do orange banquettes, like the couch that's in my loft to like kind of be
pop of color.
an ode to dinner at the Loft.
Yeah.
And a pop of color, you know, but it's food just be very like, you shouldn't need a knife for any of it in my mind. Like very much you can spoon it to your plate, eat your part, share it around, pass it around.
Not share.
I like definitely order 2 of them.
But we want to do like cocktail like punch bowls where it's like you could order a bowl and you have a ladle and everyone gets their glass. Like
that's sick.
Where it's like everyone could drink the same thing, but like same thing. It's like getting punch at your grandma's. Like I just want to like make as many odes to like feeling like you're comfortable and you're at home. It'll be like dim lights, it'll be exposed wooden ceilings, exposed brick, lots of lamps, lots of plants.
And then just being able to just like create, and I know you said vibe, but like create this energy around the restaurant of like something that's different. Like you've been in New York, so you've like, people do a lot in little spaces in New York. Like you have a big space, so you're like, what do I, like it's so much. But you almost like need to like be like, I wish this was a little smaller so I could figure out what I'm actually doing with it.
Yeah, well that's true. And like, I think what we have on our side is like, I'm not trying to, it's never been about making as much money as we can. So I'm not trying to punch as many seats as we can in there. I want people to have space, you know, and it's like you said, like you can use your space. Like the kitchen area isn't very large and either is like the bar area really, but I feel like we've designed it to where it's going to work perfect, like for us and for what we're doing. You know what I mean?
How long has this been in the works for you? Because we've known you for a long time, and I've seen the building when we first started really being good friends.
That was like 6 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
You're walking by the building.
So honestly, the first time it was ever brought up in discussion was honestly on the way home from my culinary school, like looking just like my trial, like walkthrough. My dad was like, I wonder, it's my aunt Kitty. She's like, I wonder if Kitty, like maybe when she's retired, like maybe we should buy the building and open a restaurant. He literally just said it and threw it out there. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, say less. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
That's it.
And like, now, so it has been coming. I'd say like the drawing, like the real process of it has been happening like the last 3 years where we've been like really getting into it, figuring out like what it's going to take and all that. So it's crazy to like see it.
And now it's like all gas. Now that people know about it, it's like
absolutely. Like,
now you're getting some press about it, and you're like,
crazy.
all right, it's coming up.
It's crazy.
So exciting. We're so proud of you.
Thank you very much.
So proud of you. Every time we see you in an article, I'm like, you gotta frame it. Like you have to frame these articles. Like
I know you
so
sound
exciting.
like my mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even have one. I'm like, I've just saw it.
I got one. I probably have two.
What?
I probably have two.
Oh, the physical copies.
Yeah,
You
we
just
always
read the
pick 'em
online, but there is something special about the physical copy.
Yeah, you got to get it.
Got to.
You can hang them in the restaurant.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
What I do. Wow.
Yeah, what kind of decor do you think you're gonna have in the restaurant?
I don't know. Like my mom is huge on like she hates overhead lighting, so like I want to like light it up a lot with lamps and candles.
Dim light.
And we'll have lights like up top, obviously. Yeah. But I want
like taste or not taste. Louise is kind of like that, like dim lighting.
Louise is my favorite place in the world.
They love your
it's
parents.
So good.
They love that.
Oh
place
yeah,
too.
I love that place.
Yeah, that space is sexy too.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like again embodies a lot of the loft. Like it is like lower lighting, and then like your menus are so clean, like that you guys print off. Like it's just and your dishes, like we just look at that every little detail.
Yeah, we don't like to like. We'll use flair when we want and when we're feeling like it, you know. But we more so like just try to like make clean drinks, make well cooked food. Like, what did you do to this chicken? I'm like, nothing. Like I just cooked it well, you know, and bought good chicken.
Yep.
And to me, that's way more impressive than like sous videing something and searing it, because it's like.
And then dressing it up with a bunch of or drinks that have stuff coming out and like paper clips.
And that's like
types of shit.
Hey, I like a good paper clip.
No, that's nothing.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And that's like nothing. It's not like that's nothing against anyone's food. Like
No.
it's just not like what I like to do.
Sure.
Like I don't. And like Nancy Silverton is my like idol. Her food is the best.
That.
So she's a chef in LA,
Okay.
and she just like makes awesome salads and like.
Does she do pizza too?
Yeah. She has a chef's table. I watch her chef's table, and I'm like, oh my, because like honestly, for a while, I would like kind of get in my head like my food's not fancy enough, and then I like caught myself trying to like do stuff, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Stick to
Like,
what you know.
and then I like saw her chef's table, like she wanted James Beard like making pizzas and stuff, and I'm like, you know, like you don't have to be. I don't have to cook anything that I don't want to cook.
Right.
Just make it taste good. You know what I mean?
So Scouts.
Yeah.
Tell me about the name there. Is that
So that's from
that's a couple different meanings, right?
Absolutely. So my daughter's name is Scout. So that's where it comes from me. Scout's amazing. She's awesome. You guys know
It's the
Scout.
best. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's a fireball. She's awesome. She's awesome. And then my parents, like I said, they own Mother Model Management. They're model scouts. So all three of us are going to do it together. Mm-hmm. So this just kind of works out for everyone. We knew we wanted it to be a name. We plan on opening like way more. Like, I want to be a food group in the city. I would love, like, I look up to those guys that are just like opening new spots. Mm-hmm. I'm always like in my head, like, thinking of concepts. If we've talked of concepts, like, bro, what if we did this? What if we did that? And it's like, I feel like Scouts is like what's going to allow us to do that. And like, I'm so thankful to have Jordy. Like, you know, we've had our talks and he's like, dude, like, I believe in what we're trying to do. And he's like, you have to have people on your side that are like, dude, let's do it. What can I do? What can I do to help? And it's like, I know Scouts will never be what it can be without him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I probably tell him too much, but I'm like, bro, thank you so much. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean it. And it's like, I like want to see us grow together and like open multiple spots and like do it up. You know what I mean? And I don't see the reason
it's
like
possible.
Why
it's 100% possible.
Yeah, you're kind of like getting to one of my questions, or two of them actually. Is one is just like, what does your guys' support system look like? Because it's not easy to just dream up something and make it happen. You have to, and again, like have people who believe in what you're doing and then also support you and take care of all the things you need in other ways. So what's your support system look like? And then again, like collaboration, because there's three of you. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Positives, not negatives, but challenges, you know.
Yeah. I mean, support system wise, I mean, I could speak for both of us, especially just industry wise. We both have kids and their moms hold down the fort.
Hold it
you know
down.
I mean? And they do an amazing job, you know, and like being at work late and knowing like, and not having to think twice about it is amazing and very relieving. So like that off the bat is amazing. And then like for me, there's times where I have Scout and it's like I have to prep. Then my mom will take her, like my parents will do anything to help the dinners, you know. I mean, you know my parents, anything they got to do, you know what I mean? They're amazing. They'll do anything they got to do. So like support wise, I mean, I feel like for all three of us, I mean, Jordy could speak for himself, but like I feel I have all the support in the world. From like you guys to like, I feel like everyone's like, dude, like keep going.
We're riding with you guys.
I know they're like, dude,
that's a lot of pressure. Everybody's riding with you.
Not even that,
pressure,
but just
like,
it's amazing. Like you guys are like, you're very fortunate to have a great support system.
And it's like you said, it's a grassroots thing. It's just been building and building, and now it's like not bubbling, but it's like it's popping off, and you know, and now it's getting to that point where it's like, all right, now we got people that are waiting for us to do special things.
We ready for it.
That's right. That's the most exciting part. You know?
What about you, Jordy? You got a family, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And just echoing that, I can't say enough about my wife at home, Samantha. She holds it down. We spoke on hospitality earlier. It's one of those things where I feel like I'm in a time of a sacrifice where, you know, I'm sacrificing a little bit of time here, a little bit of time there, but just knowing I have that support system and she understands the sacrifice and then the upside of it, you know, at the end of when it's all said and done, you know, what we're going to have had established and the reward from it all is going to be worth the sacrifice right now. So I couldn't do it without my wife at home. My kids are amazing, you know, and then of course, just mom and siblings, just an endless amount of support. My boy Elliott comes through. Hey, everything bouncing off ideas.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not a stupid idea, but yeah, I thought it was, you know what I mean? Just every aspect of just inspiration and motivation. So it's super awesome.
That's awesome that you guys as a team are building each other up. And
yeah, I mean, that came with time. Like,
because that's all that you all have all different experiences, different backgrounds.
It's hard because it's like, you know, we have 3 different schedules. I book all the dinners and I don't ask nobody what they're doing. I just book them.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, because I'm not saying no. Yeah, so I just book them, and then if they can't go home, I just figure it out. You know, I have people that come and help, but I know I'd say like there's times like when one of us isn't there, because we've all done dinners where one of us isn't there. It definitely feels off. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like we could go through a dinner and not speak. Like we're just like
dialed in.
And he's like,
Yeah.
And we're like, we just like start playing, and I'm like, let's go.
That's crazy. So would you say like entrepreneurship is hard? Like, it's very, very hard on your mental more than like, it's not like physically, it's physically hard, but it's more like everybody's scared. I think every entrepreneur, and if they're not scared, then there's something wrong with them about the stuff that they're doing. So tell us about like some of the ups and downs, because like I kind of wrote here like private ghost kitchen, like not that you're running a ghost kitchen, but like what are some of the ups and downs of like you don't have a physical location, like.
Well, it's like if they don't call me to book, they don't. It's like last year we didn't book a dinner for like 4 months once. Then I had a job then, so it was fine. But I don't now. So I'm like,
so now there's no options.
And like that's why we like, for me, I guess I could say for entrepreneurs, and like something you've shown me as well is like you gotta pay to look professional. Like no one's gonna back you if you look half-assed. You probably are. You know what I mean? So it's like there's been tons of dinners we didn't make any money because we're paying someone to come take videos, or we're paying someone to come do that, or we're like, and that's fine. Now we don't have to do that. But like we didn't make money on most of the dinners, but in the beginning, because we all had jobs, we weren't worried about it. We were worried about putting out amazing stuff and getting content. And then over time, once your content looks more legit, it's like you click on a page with 5 pictures and it's like fuzzy.
It's fuzzy.
You're like,
no,
what?
I swear you won't go there. We go to restaurants strictly because of what their content looks like.
It will drive you away.
You're like, what? Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like I feel like the entrepreneurial like side of me that works in my favor is like I don't ever pretend to know something that I don't know. Like I ask so many questions. I've always been that way with like cooking wise, and like now, like I text you like,
when should I post this?
Like, bro, should I post this now? And you're like, well, I'll be like,
everything matters.
You're like, I was like Sunday morning, bro. I was like,
it's like 11:30. I'm like, yeah, but it's like I don't.
Every detail matters though, and I love your guys. Like that last video you guys did, or the pictures that you guys did, like those look so sick. And like people are like seeing that, and they're like, what's going on? I'm trying to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, every detail matters, and it's hard, and it's lonely when you're an entrepreneur, because like you said, when you want to ask people questions, but you don't have anybody to ask questions to.
Dude, like I was just talking to my mom, and like something that I've noticed, I was like so excited to like, no, I don't have to go clock in, and like now I'm like, dude, like I'm so sick of being home.
Right.
Like I would love to go like
somewhere.
Oh, totally.
Like see everyone at work and be like, what up?
I want to get yelled at by a chef.
Yeah. And it's like also like there's no one there, which I think there's no one there to make you do anything. It's on you.
All on you. You
and
have
like,
to get up
a lot of pressure,
on time at the beginning of the day. You can't
I
sleep in.
I could sleep as long as I wanted. No one would know.
Nobody will know.
But I don't.
You'll
you know
know.
What I mean? You'll know.
Because shit's not getting done.
Exactly.
And you're like,
your biggest critic is yourself, and that's like when you feel like you're not doing enough. And I feel like that's one thing that like is a problem with me, is like no matter how good it seems like we're doing, like you always feel like you're not doing enough, and then you like feel like, oh man, like I slept in till 7:45, I didn't get up at 6, or whatever it might be. Like you just feel like you're letting yourself down, and I feel like that's important. So
yeah, but I also think it's cool. It's like not everyone has that,
Yeah.
And it's like
that sets you apart.
You find like groups of like me, you, and Wes, bro. Like we got that chat, and it's like I got a gang load of friends, but I got 3 that are in a chat because like we talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
We talk about like what we're gonna do in the future, and it's like like dude,
sometimes it's just
cool.
a DM or a video or something like that.
It's just
I
wild.
love that, you guys.
Well, it's all of us. Like it's just crazy. It's just wild how everything comes full circle, and it's like you bump into people along the ride that like you were supposed to meet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 5 years from now, where do you see
The golden question.
5 years.
5 years, you'll be 33?
How old will it? No, I'll be.
Are you 28?
I turned 30 in April.
No.
So I'll be 34. So I'll be like 34, 30. I know, I turned 30 this year.
We'll be 33.
That's not true.
We'll be 33, chill.
Okay.
I know, so I'll be like 35.
I rope you in with us. It's fine.
Man, that's
Couple years
crazy.
difference.
I don't know. I hope to have more restaurants, honestly. That's really my goal.
Or at least another in the works or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't plan on like opening as many as I possibly can, I've like I said, it's never been about like making as much money as I can. I want to be comfortable. I hope to have more kids. But I don't know. I hope I have a pretty chill life. You know what I mean?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, knowing me, that's not what's going to happen because I'm just going to keep going for more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not gonna ever chill. Like, oh, like if we get to this point, then you slow down.
No, never stop.
No, never
Never
slow down.
stop.
Well, when you slow down, it's like if you really want these multiple restaurants, like you can't take your foot off the brake
Absolutely.
for 10 years, 15, 20 years.
Nah, you just got to go.
You know, and that's when it's gonna keep you creative because there's gonna be a point with scouts where you're like, okay, all right, I want a new space. I want
Absolutely.
a new challenge, and you're gonna want to challenge
New
yourself.
concept, whatever it might be.
Oh, and it's fun and it's there's so much that you can do. But it is the STL bucket list show. So I want to talk a little bit about St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
So Jordy, what are a few of your like bucket list spots around town? Like if you're going out to eat, let's say it's date night. What's like your favorite date night spot?
Date night.
Besides dinner at the Loft. This isn't an ad.
Let's say it's you don't have a dinner to cook or make or to
free
make cocktails.
time, free space. Typically, kind of honestly, date night. I'm stuck at home. We're cooking, but if we get the chance to get out, Salve is one of our new pasta spots in particular. Great drinks, obviously.
The Gin Room. The Gin Room's new
down the Gin
restaurant.
Room.
Yeah, I heard that they were fire. I haven't
Shout
been
out
there
to
yet.
the Gin Room. From there, I mean, I want to tell you guys a gym or some type of secret, but I don't have any. I've been kind of just mainstream.
out the game, bro.
I'm like, no, seriously.
What about with the kids? Like, what if you're going out with the fam? Like, is there like any? It doesn't even have to be a restaurant. It could just be like, what's like an activity that you would say like, oh, this is like one of our favorite things to do. Like, could be a park, could be anything.
So we love skating. That's kind of our new family thing when we're all out together, and that's just Rosie rolls over across the river there.
Nice.
But I mean, it's like snow day. We went skating yesterday. You know, just if the opportunity presents itself, we're
It's
just
like an
out
indoor
rolling.
skating
Yeah.
rink, like
Yeah.
rollerblading.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's
Great
or-
skate.
or-
We were just
or-
talking about great skate.
Yeah, we were.
And that's like
back.
my love plus their love. Now I'm like, yeah, let's do this. You know, that's all about it.
Cute.
Smells like sweaty shoes, but I love being there.
Oh,
It is. It's you
you're like
can
holding a
smell
girl's
the
hand. You're in
little
fifth grade. You're like
nostalgia.
holding with your pinky, like skating like this.
That is funny.
What about you? Where are you going? Like somebody comes in town. Where are you taking them to go to eat?
My go-to always is Louis. Like I said earlier, I love everything about it, top to bottom, like the food.
Yeah.
I really enjoy going there. The Foundry I think is really cool. People from out of town seem to really enjoy that. I like that. It's just like I love all like the choices they made for the food inside of it,
And it's
So
like super industrial looking. Like
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah,
really
yeah.
sick. Like for somebody out of town to go there, they're like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is
absolutely. So I mean, I love Louis. Gosh, what was my mom? Oh, so I like am such a sucker for steaks, and my mom brought me to Hamilton Steakhouse, and dude, and I was like, honestly, when I pulled up, I'm like, Mom.
Yeah, what is this?
I'm like, come on. And she's like, Davis, trust me. I'm like, all right, Mom. But I got the strip in the baked potato, and it was like the most nostalgic, delicious thing ever.
they throw down there. They're underrated over there.
Dude, for real. I was like, dude, this
And
is good.
1111 Mississippi. I think it's all the same group over there.
Yeah. I also I go out to eat a lot alone. Like I don't.
Isn't
it's just
that
like
just
it's kind of my
refreshing?
thing.
It's
I
so
love it.
good.
I like if I get the chance. I'm like, dude, I'm going to eat by myself.
Go try something new. And
Yeah.
That is
The
nice.
best to do. We
Have
talk
the
about that
AirPods
all the
in, have like a
time.
book or podcast going.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
People watch and yep.
But yeah, the chicken from Louis,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I went to a spot by myself just randomly across the street from where your restaurant's going to be at in Southern. And they had a fried chicken sandwich, and it was like, I got the hot one, bro. I was like,
Yeah. So that is actually
Fucking hot.
dude, this is Rick from
Pappy's.
from
Oh,
Grace.
Grace.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, he was there before he went to Grace. That's another spot. Like
Oh my
I bring,
God, every
they never
time.
miss. I just love spots that never miss. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why it's like it comes back to like just like cook it good,
Yep.
Cook it good, and then create like Grace Meat and 3 is just packed all the time.
bro. Always.
Right.
Families, kids,
And I'm so
adults,
mad.
everything.
I'm so mad. Like right when they came up with that open window is like right when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Cause like before because people don't like a lot changed. They don't have the same nightlife down there.
Right.
But, like if you would have pulled up and get some like fried
After
chicken,
a night out,
Right.
hell yeah. Sit on one of the little
Their
benches
curbside
on
probably
the
killed
side.
it. Their
Yeah.
I'd have been up in there.
Yep.
Their curbside killed it though, and
Yeah.
they might bring it back,
They
but I
did.
don't think the nightlife's the same, like you said. But
No, it's-
but it helped because like then COVID hit, and they're like, oh well, we got this window, boom,
Yep.
they're just pumping shit out the window.
Yeah.
They probably do a lot of volume over there.
Yeah. I like Rick. He's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's a good spot.
What is, sorry, one more question. What
I don't mind.
is your favorite thing to make? Like,
My
do you have like that's your go-to
Like,
or
I'm
you
just-
like to play with or something?
So something that I guess I love one pot meals. I love Dutch ovens. So I love something that I can like build up. And because my mom, I think it comes from my mom. She always loved stews, like ham and bean soup, and like it was always some kind of stew or like pot just simmering away. So like the whole house smelled like it. So I've always enjoyed that. For my culinary final, I had to make gumbo, and I crushed it. And so ever since then, that's been something like when I'm making it, it like just makes me think because it's been so far since then. And I remember I was so proud. I read like 20 articles about gumbo.
And you were like fascinated by
I knew
it.
everything
You knew
there
like
was
New
about
Orleans,
gumbo.
so you're like,
We've
I'm
had your
you're-
gumbo, I think, before.
You
Do
probably-
remember
You
that?
started talk. We went to that pop-up dinner above Brennan's, and you did
Yeah.
like gumbo and hush puppies.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was guys. I love
Maybe it was
gumbo.
jambalaya. Or maybe
No, jambalaya. It was jambalaya.
Yeah, it was jambalaya.
I always get
Similar-
jambalaya and
similar.
They are
gumbo
very
mixed up.
close.
We had gumbo down in like New Orleans, and they were like,
Yeah. But I'd have
couldn't
to
even
say,
understand them. They were talking. I'm like,
Oh, if I made gumbo for them, they'd probably be like, Joe, what is this?
Yeah.
But my version of gumbo in my head, I'm like, it's just like nostalgic. Makes me think of school, like how long it's been.
Sure.
I like the roux takes hours to make. I love the time that goes into it.
yeah, it's a labor of love.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
I'm not doing it right then.
What's your favorite spirit to make
Yep.
to drink with
That was
or to
a
mix
good
with?
question.
Honestly, probably mezcal. That's
Really?
that's kind of my new love, my
That's
new
our
passion.
favorite.
It's got
What do you make? Vita, the old green bottle. You know, like the classic.
Vita. That's
stuff's
that's
good.
tried, true, and trusted. You know,
Yes, it
there's
is.
nothing wrong with that. But Sombra, Hoja de Tigre, and then just the levels from there. Some of it you don't want to touch at all. You know, as far as
I
mixing
like
with
the
cocktails.
super smoky ones. I like the super smoky ones. Like
there's-
Vita's pretty smoky, but not.
Yeah.
It's like probably a mild one. But there's some new ones that I tried that weren't actually that smoky.
Oh yeah, it's so vast. You can make it out of so many different agave plants. So it's
I'll tell you who has the Nixta. They have a wall just all mezcal, like all
yeah.
over the world, like just crazy amount of mezcal. It's insane. It's insane. But no, I like mezcal is my favorite. Anytime I see it on the menu, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting that drink.
One.
Yeah, that's the one always.
Definitely.
It's hot right now too.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge growing category. You know, Grand Spirits Bottle Company, they got
Yeah.
mezcal tastings and all that fun stuff
I
down
heard
there.
about
So
that. We haven't
that's a
went there
good.
yet.
Oh,
that's right next to that's the same family as the gin room, isn't it?
Yep,
Or
that's a good stop. But as far as like mezcal goes, but mezcal squirt sipping around the house, you can't beat it. Can't beat it.
what's that? Tell them the recipe.
Squirt mezcal.
Oh,
Call it a day.
the squirt
That's it.
Yeah, the squirt soda.
Oh, squirt soda.
Yeah,
Okay.
squirt
I didn't know if
soda.
it was like a
That
special
does
drink
sound
called the mezcal squirt, and I was like, I like that.
Actually, I like that. I like, we're gonna play on that. But
We will
what's
play
that,
on
babe?
that.
Put it in a little juice thing. Here's the mezcal squirt.
Call it a day.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's just so good. I love it. But
You guys did awesome.
Thank you so much.
yeah,
It's
thanks
so
for
much
coming on
fun.
the show, guys. Episode 50 of the STL Bucket List Show.
Let's go.
Tap in, the hottest podcast
In the world.
in the world. You already know Matt in the back on the ones and twos, Half Coast Studios, producing a perfect episode every single week, guys. We drop every Wednesday morning. We don't miss. Consistency is key with the podcast game. And then the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis, they're the largest public funder of arts, art programs. And if you guys are ever thirsty, we got 4 hands up here too. So
And
appreciate it.
last thing, tell everyone where they can find you and support you because we forgot to do that bit.
oh yeah.
Oh, if you want to find us on Instagram's the best way if you want to follow what we're doing. At the moment, Dinner at the Loft, that's basically where you'll find all of our updates for dates. We'll eventually be talking about scouts when the time comes on there. And then you can follow us on Instagram. My name's _icook_. Brandon is Urban Eyes BP. And then what is yours?
Luxury Lou. _Tinder.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.